Welcome, friends, to Occultists Anonymous episode 110. Right? Yeah?
Yes. 110.
Yes. I was like, they're sequential. You would figure I'd be able to keep track of them, but, here we are. As always, we are sponsored by Roll20, The Onyx Path, and viewers like you. Thank you guys for supporting us, coming along with our wacky adventures. Thank you to everybody who is following, sharing, subscribing. What's the other one? Whatever. Yes. All those things. We appreciate it. And a special shout out goes to our Patreons who support us monetarily, let us do cool stuff. Like we've basically calculated up exactly how much money we have in the show funds. And so we're going to be making my math was wrong earlier, $200 donation to, I had them bookmarked. Hang on.
The Audrey Lord project.
That's the one, because let's be honest, it is so very, very on brand for us. Where'd they go? There we are. Yeah, Audrey Lord, New York City-based organization for POC LGBTQ intersectionality. That's kind of our gig. Or at least the Occultists Anonymous, the Rookery gig. And
It's things we care about.
Yep. So yeah, that's a very cool thing. And so that is thanks to you guys, because literally at the moment I kind of ran out of like, well, we don't need to upgrade any more equipment and we don't need any more character art. Not currently, at least. Who knows? Somebody might die.
Always get more character art.
More character art.
But yes, so a special shout out to 70% water but thirsty Noctal. Yeah, I know, right? Algos, Bernie, Doc, Jack, James, John, Josh, Julian, Melissa, Perry, Puppeteer. Wait, hang on. Something went out of order there. Julian, Melissa, Perry, Roy Viscratch, Schmitty, Seth, Terry, Thomas, Fairkeeper, Stefan, Alan, Michael, Badur, Danny, Jenny, Lance, Moku, One True Michael, there's Puppeteer, Cinna, Serenus, The Banty, Michael, Al, Alexander, Brandon, Emil, Giovanni, Cat Feathers, Noba, Ryan, Sebastian, and Usuf Sama. Sorry guys, Patreon has updated their whole roster thing here and it was not behaving.
Any sort of semblance of order.
Yeah, no, it's wacky. So yeah, just look forward to all sorts of different orders that these might come out in. Cool. So when we last left the Cabal, there was some hubris. We had a little bit of hubris with Wyrd casting a teleportation. Well, no, a co-location in front of a sleeper. Yeah, I mean, it's no big deal. Then of course, Songbird melted to vampires. They really count as people.
Like
Yes.
you do.
Into blood. It was messy. It was gory. But it was all part of a holy, unholy anointing by an angel of death to crown the vampire prince, a kind of ruler of vampires, and an Hades dedicated to Lilith herself, earning Songbird one spell cast 1 dot, I think is the specific limits.
1 dot higher than you have possible.
Right. A constant temptation now. And also 1 dot drain on your willpower, if I remember correctly.
It's the price is like the price to hold the boon is 1 dot of willpower.
Right.
I instantly get it back without having to spend any XP after I use the boon.
So yeah. I'm
It's
sure.
fine. We're just gonna do some big boy / big girl magic. It's fine.
Yep. Big mage magic.
Big mage energy.
Yeah. And then and of course, part of that stuff with Wyrd teleporting a RV was because Atratus turned the RV into a Carvey.
Carvey.
Very pleased with that episode title. Thank you, Noctal. The Carvey heist. Also on board was, Gone in 60 Minutes. So yeah. Also a good one. So when we pick up, I believe Songbird had asked for a drink or coffee. Because the morning after, basically, and kind of chatting with the Cabal about what just happened, and assuring Titus or Network, I can't remember who asked that. Yes, don't worry. Shiko's going to handle the fact that 2 vampires have just, been erased out of existence. And, yes, there is an Uzi in that bag that I believe Atratus said dibs.
I don't think I actually have the strength to use it. I'm strength 2. Is that strong enough to actually use it? I don't think so.
I'm looking, though the strength requirements there actually means that all you do is you take a -1 to using it. So it's not like completely useless. It's just, you're going to take a -1 to it. But I'll be honest, you have the mind magic to just make yourself better at firearms to compensate. Yeah. But since you brought it up, strength of 2 is all that would be required, actually.
Okay, so I just need to have not scoured if I'm going to use it.
Mm-hmm. Or you
not scour your strength.
Yep. But yeah, that if you want to add it to your character sheet, you're welcome to. It uses the line for SMG small. And the flies are back. Yeah, sorry. They've been attacking. Welcome to Houston in the summer. Righto. So any further business as basically Atratus casually just removes a Uzi from a bag on the table.
In my head, there's the scene of the Uzi on the table, and then like these hands just come in from off screen and then drag it away slowly.
Bang. Pretty accurate.
Free gun.
You okay, Songbird?
I'm gonna take a nap.
Sure.
Because it was a.
I mean, I've had life magic on all night.
That's true.
So I'm not like. My brain's probably just tired at this point.
Actually sleeping would just be nice.
Yeah, we do need sleep to like do that whole brain reset thing, not just the whole resting thing. Yeah. Go enjoy those dreams.
Yep. Wait, what? What?
So Songbird goes to go sleep.
I mean, how's the active hubris? He wasn't bothered, right?
Right. No, I'm sure if there's any dreams,
Demetrius just fucking with me.
Just because you made the wisdom doesn't mean that you weren't bothered.
Sure.
Yeah, but no. Normal Songbird dreams of
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Viking chanting and Valhalla awaits and yeah. But of course that's not actually here at the Rookery. That's back at the Puck building. But yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
That was the thing in Atratus. On the one hand, it was vampires, but on the other hand, wow.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as it sounded.
Okay.
I mean, that's the best thing I can say about this.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, weight in blood could have meant a lot more people.
Could have been a lot worse.
True, he didn't go on a murderous rampage. Yeah. Well, I hope he gets what he wants out of it.
I hope we don't have to deal with the repercussions of a divinely empowered vampire prince.
Well, I did a divination, and it's not going to be like catastrophic or anything. So the follow shouldn't be too bad if there's any within my ability to predict it.
Because if I remember correctly, it was, will this be good or bad? Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
All right, well, I guess you go. Because it's like night.
No, it's the morning. Because Songbird had been overnight.
All night.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question for you. You've been getting a little more involved in Concilium politics.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a goal there?
I mean, not like politically, I don't guess. My goal was mostly to try to improve our standing amongst the other groups that we have out there so that we can have allies when we need them and more eyes out in the world to tell us if, like, the seers are messing around in certain places.
Okay. So just a general eyes on the council sort of idea that other than personal
Yeah,
aspects.
because
In case you didn't notice, a lot of people who aren't super fond of mages tend to be arrogant jerks.
I'm aware.
So, yeah, just generally trying to repair that image slightly.
I also know that, like, we as a cabal have gone to great, like, one of the reasons we have so many allies is because we're generally not like that,
yeah, but you've
or
seen
there's, like,
everyone else, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You've met Red Dread.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're definitely have some opinions about the world and the way it should be.
Yeah, and I disagree with those. So I'm working on helping shift the general perception.
Okay. I was going to go wander the city for a bit, unless you got something you wanted to do today.
No. I mean, I'd like to tinker with more things now that I've put an RV inside a car. That was fun.
That was amazing.
So I need to acquire things for that. Just like broken stuff. So
Just random broken stuff.
do you
Hey,
want to
Weird,
go
can you
for a
bring me
walk?
some trash?
Can I what? Sorry, you broke up.
You bring me some trash.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure I could find stuff if you're looking for anything specific. Or do you just want to let me find what I find?
Anything that you think might be useful.
Challenge accepted.
And this is how Atratus became a hoarder.
I mean, in the write-up for the Haven Phoenix, it straight up says that their sanctums are full of trash.
Full of all sorts of like, well, this is a unique feature that I could put in something else. And yeah, a lot of the gear that they carry is cobbled together, things that have multi-purposes and oh yeah. Which might actually end up on Storyteller Vault in the next couple weeks. I'm going through that write-up and multi-drafts and stuff like that. And cultists might want to pay attention to the cultist chat. Just saying.
That's cool.
Yep. But yeah. So you, where are you headed, Weird, or just walking?
Just walking wherever my feet take me.
Sure.
I have a vague intention to sort of end up in the proximity of Moonkeeper at some point. But I'm okay taking 3-4 hours to get there.
Wandering into Moonkeeper, I think, especially like with your understanding of things, is an unlikely thing. Like either you actually, actively seek them out. I mean, New York is a bit of a big place,
Mm-hmm.
and Moonkeeper doesn't hang out in Lower Manhattan. So yeah, you would have to start hopping on buses and subways and
Yeah, I'm more.
Okay. But I mean, basically, do you head to Moonkeeper?
but I'm going to take a roundabout way to get there.
Cool.
Fate works in opportunities, right? So I'm just wandering in the streets and seeing what I see. And if I find some nice junk that Atratus might find interesting, I'll make sure I pick it up.
Sure.
And just get back in touch with the pulse of the city. I've been holed up for way too long. I need to get back into the flow of things.
Command center, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure you're not an Ariadne?
Mm-hmm.
I looked so hard at that. It was calling to me so much.
You're just cosplaying as one.
Like, it's the hobby legacy. Like, I'm not an actual, but,
I mean, to be fair, that's what Songbird's doing with whatever Hadramiel shit is, too.
Just a little sightseer, little hobbyist. Okay, cool. And what about for Atratus?
I was also gonna go for a walk, just like checking out our territory.
Cool.
Guess I should I take Titus and Network? Or one of them?
Yeah, I mean, no. At this point, like Network will go on sometimes Rose will, it's just one of those things. Like Titus is kind of like, yeah, that's my thing. But he's almost always accompanied by a mage because Titus doesn't actually have peripheral mage sight. He just has peripheral mage sight for matter. And, so like when that stuff is acting up, sure. But for anything else, he's as, unaware as any other sleeper might be. But yeah, he's more than happy to, go on a walk with you and just be like, oh yeah, we're going to walk okay, sure. Yeah. The boss wants to walk the beach. Sure.
Yeah, because it's been, we haven't done that. We've kind of just been leaving them to. So, we haven't been doing that really. We've just kind of been like, yeah, you all go and I want to do it.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm sure Songbird definitely walks it too. Occasionally Judd will go instead of Titus, stuff like that. It's part of that whole, we don't always show everything that happens. But yeah, you and Titus hit the bricks, so to speak, head out, and, it is morning-ish, because if Atratus is up, so it's going to be like 11 o'clock or something like that. But by the time she actually leaves the Rookery, but yeah, you guys, walk out, and Titus shows I don't want to say preternatural, but a unique ability to recognize people, and just like seems to like, oh yeah, that's so and so, they run this place, they run that place, and Titus has made a like serious attempt to know not literally everybody, because New York is a big damn place, but to know at least the names of like shop owners, or
he knows people who run the shop on the corner,
right? At least right there near the Rookery itself. Once you get farther out and stuff like that, because it's a big area, because literally covering basically all of lower Manhattan. So he's working on it, but starting concentric circles and working the way out. The glasses. Did we ever make?
These are Jimmy's glasses.
That's
Jimmy's
got magic glasses. Yeah.
Jimmy has those glasses.
Titus has
the
magic gun. Yeah.
the oh shit button, and then it's done. Needs to be reloaded by another mage with prime, basically. Or I guess technically it could be left in the Hallow.
This just needs mana, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But Sleepwalkers have no good way of doing that. And
it's got a couple shots worth of mana in it, though.
Non-prime mages can't put mana in it. We could only use it using our own, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yep. Need to have that prime 3.
It's almost like prime is the best arcana.
It's pretty up there. It's
pretty useful.
Yeah. I mean, of course, being able to do that from home in your pajamas with prime and space, which, oh yeah, if you guys were missing it on Discord, there was a moment where Chris and I were just shared the same brain. It's like, yeah, you need prime. Or if you had space in prime. It was perfect. Come by Discord, eat2.space. Hang out with us. But yeah, you guys, head out on the patrol. And, at first, 20 minutes or so, Titus is, kind of trying to flex and show for the boss and be like, oh yeah, no, I'm good at this kind of stuff. But eventually kind of hits him and goes, now I don't mean anything by this, Atratus, but why are you out here today of all days? Like,
I wanted to check things out. I mean, I haven't walked the beat in a long time, and I just kind of wanted to see what I can see.
Okay. Yeah, it was just, it's kind of odd. Songbird comes back, has a whole story, goes to sleep. Wyrd goes, hey, yeah, I'm going to go walk the streets. Okay. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to walk the beat. And I'm like, something going on nobody's telling me about. Like, just, just you guys do stuff. And, you usually let me in. Sometimes you guys just like, you're doing mage stuff. And it's just, whew. So just check it in. Cool.
Yeah, I don't currently have anything pressing going on. Like, we just made a cool car. That was fun. Could do that again. Do you want a car?
Like the most deadpan, are you kidding me right now face? Followed by, we need a garage.
I mean,
like, we
money.
can do that, right?
I can totally do that.
Actually, yeah.
Like the whole inside of the warehouse, because we did with the RV thing, like, right? Couldn't we just like, this area is just
Pocket garage? Yeah, we can.
yeah, and like
we can do that.
as you were walking, Titus pulls a 100% millennial typing while walking past people. Wyrd, you get a text, and all it says is expanded garage ? But yeah, you guys, walk the beat, chit chat. Invariably, the discussion turns to werewolves. And how interesting they are. Some kind of, not going to say personal, but like, oh yeah, some personal stories. Titus is just, talking about, Logan did this thing. Jake is actually not like a total asshole. He's just like the dad that you are never going to impress. But yeah, he's all right.
He seems all right.
Yeah. What was the other thing related to that? Hang on, I'm gonna look at the rescue one because there's a note I had somewhere. Well, I can't remember what it was, so I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, have a little chit chat. I think there's questions about like he like, okay, it's just us. So you and Logan, what's going on? Oh, okay, sure.
We hang out.
Sure. Just asking. One concerned.
He's looking for a double date.
Yeah. One mage to another. Okay, cool. As you were walking along, nothing really happens. There are a couple little things where your peripheral mage sight tingles as you come across some supernatural thing or other. But very often that stuff is of an arcana that you can't really study, or you immediately recognize, especially now that you have one dot in spirit, it's like, oh, okay, that's, some spirit causing a little bit of mischief, or, is feeding off of essence. Nothing like, no rampaging spirit of,
nothing to be like, oh shit, we need to shut it down. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's just doing its thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Titus basically is like, directing, because like, okay, this is the beat for, today. And he's like, okay, and this is where we do our 180. And like, he gets just a little bit tense. And over in the distance, you can see the New York court building. He's like, yeah, I just big loop around
avoid
that
one.
Yeah, we avoid that one. And you start heading back to the Cabal.
Okay.
As for Wyrd, yeah, no spirits doing prime things, correct. Spirits just doing spirit things. But since you are looking for, Moonkeeper, I almost called him Timekeeper. Jesus.
Accurate.
Yeah. I did warn them. I am a little brain drained. I am now warning you all. I am brain drained. So we may see slightly loopy Drew. We'll survive. Eventually it basically requires you to give Moonkeeper a call. Called it. Just requires giving him a call and basically letting him know, hey, well, I don't know. How do you broach the whole, hey, want to meet up, want to chat, or what have you?
So I'll just happen to be in the area and say, hey, I'm in the area. Want to get a coffee?
Sure. Which, hey, I happen to be in the area from an Acanthus is...
right.
This is a lie.
Right. He... how does he handle that? Well, yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. We can get a coffee because it's mages. Mages tend to do something with some purpose, and especially when it comes to a call to an Acanthus councilor, ramp, something is up kind of effect. He suggests a place to get coffee, and he out Acanthuses you and shows up with a coffee for you, and it was absolutely horrible. The coffee that you had picked up for him just got dumped in the street. It was a complete accident, and he shows up. And he's just got this grin as he sees you because he's like, no.
I didn't even bat an eye.
Right. And just to remind people, over the past 6 months, Wyrd has been, chatting and interacting with Moonkeeper on a fairly regular basis. Does actually have, has now actually spent the 1 XP to get the 1 dot of allies with Moonkeeper. So, there's some favors that can be exchanged there on occasion. Moonkeeper just, silently hands off the coffee and just starts leading a walk. And very quickly you realize it's heading into Central Park.
Sure.
Getting a little bit away from the cars and more into just a little bit quieter. Because let's be honest, Central Park, it's not exactly a quiet place, but comparatively. Walks with you and just it's a quiet couple minutes before you guys are into Central Park and a little bit more away from folks, and says, so what's up, Wyrd?
I think I'm gonna make a rope.
All right.
Recently the mysteries of fate have become revealed to me, and
that's
wanted to touch base about that.
It's a big step. At least in my estimation, it's kind of on par with sorry, podcast folks, you are not seeing Chris being attacked by his cat. It's perfect. Moonkeeper kind of grins and says, it's like joining a legacy. You eventually reach that level of understanding and control. You have a plan for a specific route?
Yeah, I do.
Are you sharing that?
I was thinking going shared fate. We seem to find ourselves at odds with others quite a bit as a cabal, mostly of the seer persuasion. We're certainly not unique in that, but it seemed like it might be a good investment.
Well, you're not exactly unique, but you and your compatriots do tend to be a little bit more confrontational than a lot of us, especially in this concilium. The Free Council aren't pushing their agenda quite as much here as in some concilium, and he looks vaguely westward out towards Philadelphia. Wait, westward?
Southwest.
Yeah, whatever.
Southwest.
So it's interesting to hear you say that, considering the council just recently conducted for lack of a better word, assassination in the vampire.
6 months ago.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean,
And that took a while for all that to fall out. Like, so it's.
I mean,
I'm just.
that was a you thing that we literally just took care of our own mages, and if Sears got caught, it wasn't like this was a
Sure,
planned assassination.
But where was the germ of that idea? Where did that come from?
Now, just to make sure, I'm sure you're talking about the same thing. Are you talking about when Chico killed a whole bunch of...
No, I'm talking about when our Concilium assassinated the prince.
Right, but that's vampires, not seers.
No, not Sears, but he was talking about we're more confrontational than other people.
Oh, yes. Gotcha. Yeah, but, again, that's from a perspective of these are people that we should be able to negotiate and discuss with.
Oh, yeah.
And seers are not people that we negotiate and discuss with. Of course, Moonkeeper says that as an adamantine arrow. The Silver Ladder folks would probably disagree. But,
so whose idea was it to bump off the prince? Like, where did the germ of that idea come from?
the hierarch.
And it found fertile ground in the arrows, I presume.
No reason not to. Most of the council approved of it.
Most of the council?
Sure. Hadramiel wasn't much into it. Hiza was kind of iffy about it, but...
Okay. That's interesting.
You already knew this.
I'm just establishing some framework to probe a little bit.
And just to the viewers, Wyrd already knew all this.
Mm-hmm. I didn't necessarily know it from Moonkeeper, though, and I'm trying to get his impressions of it all. So I don't know how you want to do this. I'm looking to push for more dots with Moonkeeper. Do you want to do this as doors or just an RP?
Well, I mean, yeah, doors is 100% what you would need, because at the end result is you want, to owe him, to be more allied, for lack of a better term. And because at the end of the day, the way you open those doors may be through RP and other dice rolls, because it's not necessarily, especially since you have no mind magic, or Prime, I think, can help too. You're not about to have an instant
just
win.
Words of truth your way to win.
Yeah, no, I
also,
wasn't.
doing that on another mage, not the best idea.
Good idea.
But yes, let me see here. Fortunately, a year later, I'm actually kind of decent at getting to opening doors, because I just remember it's next to combat.
Just turn the handle.
Just thinking of all those, directions unclear memes. Yeah. Has base number of doors equal to lower of resolve or composure. You're gonna go make me look up Moonkeeper's stats.
Getting the stats for this SMG, it's not that good.
But it fires
the
a
big
lot of
thing
bullets.
is it's number of
Burst
bullets
fire.
and burst fire. Mm-hmm.
I want to burst
Which-
fire punches, please.
No,
You should
you're
take a
scary
little
enough
Be a
as
JoJo.
is.
I'll be a JoJo.
Get your
I stand by my
bubbles.
original statement. No, you were scary enough as it is.
You're already One Punch Man.
Yep. All right. And then announced goal would be a breaking point of hubris. Nope. if it would prevent them from resolving an aspiration or obsession, add a door. Acting against a virtue adds a door. Cool.
And while you're looking up, the conversational path I want to take is that Moonkeeper's always been very strong in time, but not so much on the fate side of his acanthus.
Now, to be clear, especially since you've been doing stuff with him long enough, he does have like Fate 3.
Sure.
So he's not like terrible at it. It's just not his focus the same way Fate is your focus versus time.
Sure. So, but that's the conversational angle I want to take through this.
And make this note private. Okay. That way I keep track of Moonkeeper's doors. But cool. Also, I'm going to probably say that you have a good impression with him. So basically you can attempt a roll every one day unless
Sure.
you do something to increase the victim's impression. But at this point, you guys are pretty well established. You know, Moonkeeper likes you. There's a little bit of a step above like acquaintance, not quite into like a full-on friendship. But it's like, well, it's like having a good relationship with a boss. You know,
Sure.
There's some things that you probably wouldn't do, you probably wouldn't ask, but if you're like, dude, I'm sick, and the boss goes, yeah, okay, I got it, no big deal. You're kind of at that level. But yeah, as for your conversational tact, go ahead. What were you saying?
So my goal is like the end goal is that I want to be like a non-overt advisor capacity, to have a backdoor into Kinsalean politics through that.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to. I don't want it to be overt or open, that kind of thing. So I'm thinking.
The end result
Without being a
there.
provost.
Sorry, what?
Trying to be a provost without being a provost.
Less so, because provosts aren't going to be advisors. Provosts are the gophers, for lack of a better term. But a counselor to the counselor.
I mean,
but
there's some conciliums where the provost is on the council, is the secondary vote and stuff like that. So,
which Dear Pentacle book, please come out. Tome of the Pentacle, that's the one. My point being, I get where your end result is. All we're worried about right now is like, what dice are you throwing at this?
So this is
story?
that was my lead up to say I want to try subterfuge and manipulation.
Okay. And the specifically, what are you trying to get across or explain? And does it need the time, because this is definitely going to have at least a couple negatives.
That having the advice of a master of fate could certainly be useful to the Acanthus counselor.
That's pretty straightforward.
But I don't want to come out and say that. I'm going to,
that's where the manipulation and subterfuge comes across. Cool. That's going to be manipulation and subterfuge. Probably -2.
Okay. Two successes. You guys have a nice little conversation, chit chat, and especially dropping that whole like. I'm making a rote. Just a casual reminder that I'm now a master of fate. Exactly.
And little couple nudges like that. He kind of looks and go, okay, yeah. Oh, hang on, before I completely forget, let me go update the doors note. Because yes, that is one door. But yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, that's that's a good point. And there's not, because Hadramiel has some fate as well. And between the two of them, they cover most of the basics of fate that they need. And there are other Acanthus, that reach out to. But yeah.
Okay. And that's what I was looking for from all of this. So that's good. I've accomplished my goal.
Yep. So you guys chit chat, chill, walk through.
Socialize. The counters tend to be fairly social, so
Share some different stories. Yes, the Free Council is in fact full of slackers, but that's their tech name. That's just
And one
hot
thing I'm
smoking slacker, tech name.
curious about Moonkeeper is how old was he after his awakening? Because he's like 15 now, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
awakened at, like,
if I remember
10?
correctly, he was 23 and became 13. And
So
is
he's
now
only been
15.
the mage for 2 years?
Hmm?
He's counselor?
Well, let's look at what you guys have done in 6 months.
He was PC for a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, he really was, because he spent about a year and a half trying to fix this shit.
Trying to
and
not be 13.
Right. That's where all the time stuff came in. He's got a bunch of life magic involved. It's one of the reasons, like, fate. I don't care about fate. I'm caring about my body and time. And there were, he made jokes about, I'm just going to, fast forward my body. And, but that has potential, like, oh crap. And notably, there's a picture. It is in the Adamantine Arrows locker rooms, and it is of, like, Moonkeeper when he tried it and jumped forward 6 months, and his hair is just out to here, fingernails are grown, and it's just like, nope, never mind. Not going to try and fast forward 10 years doing it that way. Yeah. And, of course, trying to trust somebody else's imago to do it. Nah. Like, did work for me.
That'd be a tough call.
Yeah, not going to put myself at somebody else's mercy, more or less. But yeah, so you guys have a chill chat and make your way back, or actually chill up there. Anything Songbird does, or is Songbird like conked out until like the evening? Okay, that's a nod, podcasters.
Yep. Very sleepy.
Very sleepy boy. And cool. So Atratus, as you and Titus kind of make your way back, kind of completing your circuit of an area. Well, I say circuit, it's going up and down all sorts of different streets and stuff like that, but making your way back at the door of the Rookery, chatting with Network, is a young woman, probably early 20s, very, I guess you'd say like bohemian, kind of loose dress and stuff. Hair is done up in some dreads, which you're going, because she's a white woman. Yeah, and it's like, okay. Yeah. But, looks over and is talking with Network, and Network has got the, like, just kind of not quite 1,000-yard stare. I'm trying to come up with the correct way of saying it, but
He's
the indirect
he
gaze.
Can't see her.
Right. And just, kind of standing, kind of leaned up against the door. But there is a bit of a posture to him that he's like, he's planted himself halfway in front of the door, such that like one could not enter the door without like shoving past Network. And as you get a little bit closer, like Titus, not quite picking up on this. He's just happily talking about some other story, this, that, and the other, and gets a little closer. And Network says, I think they're closed up for renovations, or actually, hang on, and look like. Oh, no, hang on. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he can.
No, he does not do that, because Network is better at this than me. But yeah, as you guys get a little bit closer and talking, his like he does the head tilt up, hearing something, and says, "Wait, actually, backtracking just a step here, has Atratus come up with a alternate identity,
I think it's the first time? No. I haven't put points into that, and that's like an actual merit you have to take, yeah?
There is
do you have like
that
a name though?
Right, a name though, or something, because otherwise everybody is calling you Atratus all the time.
No, I mean, when I first met him, I think I gave him Alyssa as a name.
Mm-hmm.
We'll run with that, sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure
as
how
much
much
a name as any other.
Right, and kind of like tilts over and says, "That's actually Alyssa and Titus now. Hang on, maybe they'll be able to let us in." And the woman looks over and kind of spots as the two of you kind of make your way out of the crowd because crowd out towards here, warehouse district, a little less cramped on the sidewalks.
I mean, most of New York doesn't just have like crowds of people on the sidewalk at all times, though.
Right. Let's see here. But yeah, she looks over and leaves network and kind of plants herself in front of the two of you, just big old smile. Hi, I'm Tilly. I wanted to talk to whoever owns this workshop. Is that you guys? Kind of looking between
partially,
the two of you.
it's sort of a collective. What were you looking to know?
Kind of leans over and it's like, I've seen signs.
Okay. Can I turn on Mage Sight and look at her?
Sure.
Do I see anything?
Nothing appears like out of the ordinary. She doesn't have any spells on her or anything like that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to. All right. Well, come on inside.
Cool.
I'm assuming she's seen the runes we put up.
But
there's nothing apparently hyper magical about our workshop, is there? I mean, there's a weird fort.
Well, and the smoke ravens kind of roaming around all the time.
That's outside.
Yeah, those are outside, and also those are not supernal. Those are just bits of your long-term nimbus kind of coming through.
Because part of our
whole front is that we're open for people, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those
that
things
we do business with public.
Yeah.
We clean the tire marks off the ceiling.
Inviting her inside isn't going to be like, oh shit, magic.
Right. No. And I'm pretty sure that's one of those things that like probably as you guys are like heading home, Titus is like, whoa, hang on. Somebody needs to somebody needs to get that, please. And Titus is like, oh yeah. And like quickly steps up and like unlocks the door and opens it in and thanks, Jimmy. And pats network on the shoulder. And the four of you kind of head inside, and network and Titus kind of immediately like move back towards the kitchen space, and the heads kind of come down as they're like kind of whispering and chatting to each other. Tilly just doesn't seem to mind any of that and kind of looks over and says, is this a safe place to talk?
Yes, it's our shop.
Okay, cool. And like her demeanor just drops. Her voice goes from high and cheery to far more business, and says, the Ministry of Mammon would like to have words with you.
Okay, why?
Just saying, I can be there in a heartbeat. That's pretty well known.
I imagine
You have to have thought ahead.
Titus would have been like texting you guys like, we have a visitor. Just heads up.
That's true. Probably actually does.
Yeah.
Everybody's
and if he wasn't,
phones.
I was going to like signal him to be doing that. Like, tell the others, because
and that said, the message that you get from Titus, everybody gets a little text. Titus can pull her own phone up and see it, and it's just like some weird person, just invited over to the, invited into the Rookery, as with Atratus. But, Tilly kind of leans against, some desk or table or whatever and says, Ministry of Mammon wants to have a chat.
Sure. What about? Or are you meaning to like schedule this at some point in the future, or is that why you're here?
Oh no, we can have the chat now if you are comfortable with it.
Sure. I mean, my Cabal mates should be coming back.
I'm not
At
going
this
to
point, I would-
discuss business without.
Them also here to hear what's going on.
Oh,
But
I mean,
we can talk, yeah.
okay. Well, simple.
So at this point, Wyrd walks out of the bathroom. Oh, hey, we have company.
She kind of looks over at you because you do not have co-locate as a legacy. Oh, yeah. Have you got?
I can co-locate to Atratus. Or no, I can. Hang on.
I thought it was you can
Pull
move
her to
us.
Yeah, because co-locate makes this space the same.
Yep.
Yeah, so you would literally pop into space right next to hers.
I mean,
How your thing would work, how your seat would work.
Okay, so I don't have any variation on that.
Because it is to the person or the location.
that's how you get around the reach requirement.
Okay, fair enough.
Specific.
Now that said, they're not a sleeper. Well, actually, if you're using your legacy, it doesn't matter if they are a sleeper. They may have a little
A little bit
complete
breaking point.
freak out anyways, but it's not, it's not going to be quiescence or dissonance or anything like that. They're just going to be like, that is really weird. How did you do that? That's one of the perks to the legacy attainment.
Sure. All right. So, yeah.
Weird
Weird
is just
bullet.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, and so Tilly kind of looks and takes like a 2-step back as quick look up and down, like, okay, hi, whoa, okay, but it says, all right, are we waiting for anybody else then?
I mean, before we is Songbird coming or you sleep?
I think I'm asleep for this. I think it's more interesting that way.
Okay, sure. We'll probably wait a little bit. It's just like, well, sure, whatever. Do you want a cup of tea or something?
No, but thank you for offering. Offering things to Mammoth, Ministry of Mammoth for free. Oh man,
It's hospitality.
Right. There's a little part of me like she would immediately do it, or she would be like, hell no, I don't want to owe you something. I don't know. No, in this case, she's like, no, thank you. I appreciate the hospitality though. No, the reason I've come calling is because you all have territory set up here, claimed, marked. Your concilium is backing your play. But we have a hallow here. We have several sanctums here.
In our territory?
Yes.
Have we just not noticed this?
Well, there's the big hallow.
We know the hallow in the courts building.
Mm-hmm.
We don't go near it. We let you.
Mm-hmm.
We don't bother your things.
Right. This is more and out of character because if you've claimed a territory, it's literally same thing with like werewolves. Everything in this is mine. Is more or less how it comes across.
Mm-hmm.
But that's actually like little preview. That's why she's having this conversation. It's like, okay, yeah. So it's not quite a conflict of interest, you understand. But it does put a damper on, well, how we look. Because right now we have a hallow and our sanctums, and somebody were to come around knocking or come around looking, they'd see signs everywhere saying Pentacle territory, owned by the Rookery. Which doesn't look good for us.
Well,
I don't want to, be unkind, but that sounds like a you problem.
what do you propose we do about that?
It is an us problem. And we have ways to solve that. One of which
Have we
is...
denied you access to these sanctums or the resources?
Say it again.
Have we denied you access to the sanctums or your hallows?
Oh, no. Which is why it's taken so long for us to decide that we needed to come down. We've been sitting in a defensive posture, waiting for you all to come knocking, especially as, word comes around about this concilium causing a ruckus with vampires. Thanks for that. And then we have reports of Abaddon coming by. And so now we wonder, are you secretly agents of the Praetorian? No, that doesn't match up. And so now we're realizing we just need to have a face-to-face.
Sure.
I mean, we aren't agents of other seers. We collaborated with Abaddon on a mission. He got what he wanted. We got what we wanted. He approached us. We're not looking to attack you or start a fight in the middle of Manhattan. That's not... I'm not. Songbird.
No, we wouldn't want to
Probably
be
not
flashy.
Here.
All
Yeah.
we're asking for is you to rearrange your territory a little bit.
To sort of cut out your courthouse out the corner.
And see, the problem is, if you cut out specific areas, let's call them enclaves of control, that might as well put a bullseye on those territories. So it need to be a little bit wider than individual buildings.
Except we allow safe passage.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. But safe passage, to and from places that we control, at the end of the day, that sure looks like we owe stuff to you. You're the ones maintaining our roads, our ingresses and egresses.
I mean, you're literally asking us to do that, yeah? To make a concession to you and give you something.
And to be fair, when we moved in here, there were no markings or signs.
Sure.
As far as we were aware, this place is unclaimed.
Yeah, because we don't walk around labeling our territory. Because when we do, people show up and firebomb it. People show up and level it. Or we have a plague of locusts.
I mean, we already knew you were there, right?
Well, did you?
Yeah. When we were given this territory, we were told the seers are there.
And so you set up territory intentionally to antagonize us into a fight?
There was no intentional regarding you at all.
Yeah.
We were given this territory as the word escapes me, but
So
the
you
Concilium
were
said that this would be a place where we could set up, and we did.
We were meant to take
Care of it, kind of.
And so you didn't specify this space. Somebody told you to control this area.
Yeah.
Because whoever told you to do that, I'll just take it up with them. And we'll discuss limiting your space. Because if you don't care, then I'll just take it up with them and they'll rearrange your space.
Well, we're kind of invested in it now.
Well, which is it? Do you care or do you not care?
We care about the space and we care about the safety of the people in it. We've gone to great lengths to make allies and build relationships in Lower Manhattan.
I'm not telling you to get out of Lower Manhattan. I'm just saying cut your
out
space
the
in,
block that
like,
your
I
courthouse
don't
is
know.
on.
Say that again?
Cut out the block your courthouse is on or whatever.
No, that's not going to help. I'm talking about about half of this territory that you've claimed in various spots. We'll just limit it down. And imagine the Rookery does not have a map of Manhattan in it. But yeah, we'll just, reduce par down and, you can have the territory that we don't care about.
You'll forgive me if I treat that suggestion with a little bit of skepticism.
Oh, sure.
The reputation of the Seers precede you.
Yeah.
I don't know that just abandoning half of our territory and the people in it and the efforts we've made to make it a safe place for everyone to traverse and to keep.
I mean, we appreciate those efforts. You all and we agree that the sleepers need to be protected and watched and cared for, and I appreciate your efforts in those directions. But at the end of the day, I mean, the alternative, at least to my mind, is that we'll handle it, and we'll just put out a proclamation that you all are watching this space for us.
Sounds an awful lot like we're giving you a whole lot. What do we get out of this?
You don't start a war. I mean, we don't come down here.
You don't start a war.
So that's your bargaining chip is violence.
Oh, it won't be violent. Just everything will go wrong. All the people that you care about will have absolutely atrocious days.
So
lose
that's
jobs, lose houses.
That's your bargaining position is threats?
Well, what else would we bargain with? What else do you care about? Do you have a counter offer?
I think you've been in the Seers too long. We're not opposed to negotiation, but if we're giving up chunks of our territory,
to give something too.
And
just saying we're not going to start killing your people doesn't endear you to us.
I've never said anything about killing your people. I've just said your
ruining
loved
lives.
Ones will have a terrible time. But I mean, it's just money. I mean, if you all have a counteroffer, I'm happy to hear it, but this is where we stand. I gave you two options. You don't like either of them, make a counteroffer. This, of course, coming from the bubbly-looking bohemian hippie gal.
See, I dispute that you came there with options for us.
I gave you two.
Yeah,
What's the other one? To
give us all the territory we want, or we'll make the lives of your allies miserable.
Or, we put out a proclamation saying that you all work for us.
That's big no.
I mean, it's what you're doing already, isn't it? Watching over our territory, watching over all our people, ensuring that the pathways in and out of our territory are safe.
Yeah, but it's not your territory.
I mean, from where I'm looking at, sure looks like it. You came in, occupied places that we weren't using, and you are apparently happy to do that. And right now, all that matters is a matter of, I say public, but public perception.
So this is all like a middle school perception issue?
I mean, everything is a perception issue.
But yeah, this option doesn't effectively change anything. You're just going to say, oh, no, it's ours, we promise. They're just taking care of it.
Oh, sure, and it won't be a problem unless you dispute that. Now, of course, if you dispute it, well, then we're back in this situation.
I mean, it's not going to be... Are you only doing this to talk to the other seers? Because our concilium isn't going to buy that. Because everyone here knows the truth.
I mean, I don't care what the concilium thinks.
A lot of silliness to posture for other seers, but...
I mean, if it's just a bunch of posturing and silliness, I'll write it up and you can sign it and we'll be on our way.
I mean, I'm
or
not
do you
really
care about your
anything
perception too?
Today.
Do I need to come back?
Yeah, we'll need some time to discuss this.
Think about it. We'll talk
about it. Discuss our options.
Okay. When's a good time for you all?
Give us a week.
I need something a little bit sooner than that. I was thinking later today.
No,
Do you have something
tomorrow
more
at the
pressing?
earliest. Yeah. Because again, we are still down one right now. And this isn't entirely our business. There is a whole concilium in Manhattan.
I mean, yes, there is an entire concilium in Manhattan that for 9 months or 9 months ago didn't care about territory in lower Manhattan. And then all of a sudden you showed up.
Yeah, and they told us it was ours.
We've also got allies.
Okay. Are your allies going to care?
If they move out of our territory and into yours, yeah, they might.
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, they're already in the area. 9 months ago, where were they?
Not our
Right
friends.
where they were?
They weren't our friends and allies then.
But they were fine. Nothing's going to
Regardless,
change.
we're going to need some time to discuss this.
Sure. So later today works? Because a week sure doesn't.
Tomorrow.
All right, fine. Tomorrow. Same time. She turns and just walks out. The door slams.
Man, I want to just tell them to go fuck themselves. Like,
Yeah. Both Titus and Network kind of like come out of the kitchen going, so what?
We knew it was going to happen sooner or later.
Sears are apparently 13. And they're really worried that they're not going to look good in front of their friends. So they need us to lie for them.
Like, Network goes, I mean, I kind of get where they're coming from.
At the same time, they haven't said anything. Like, we haven't bothered them. They haven't bothered us. It's been fine.
But it sounds like they've been, hunkered down, a little paranoid that we're going to come bust in the door.
Once it became clear we weren't, now they're like, oh, well, maybe we can tell them to leave.
And Network goes, I mean, maybe there's something significant about them doing it now. Somebody higher up
Is messing with
came
us.
after them. Because, I mean, like, let's be honest, at the end of the day, the Sears are a giant pyramid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody came at them from above and said, WTF, mate, and they didn't have a good answer, get kicked in the pants. I mean, she said it. It was like they're happy with us patrolling, watching, and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it basically boils down to, are you cool with Mammon telling the other seers that we're totally just taking care of their territory for them?
No.
yes,
Because they will
Network and Titus are
100%.
both like, nah.
They will 100% twist that and make us enemies elsewhere.
There's a moment where everyone at the table just kind of looks and just like, what would Songbird say?
Yeah, there's no way we're agreeing to that we answer to them over this.
Excising part of our territory.
Right,
To
because
them,
they'll
ceding
let
it
us,
over.
have the choice over what territory we get.
Yeah. If we do that, we're going to need to ask for something nice, because I'm not willing to take not ruining your friends' lives as the trade there.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
That's not a trade. That's not a
That's
one
not
for
a
one.
trade.
And the other alternative is we do go kick in their door, because if they won't be reasonable.
So
And see your doors all over the place.
I imagine this is probably going to be a bit tougher just because they're hunkered down and prepared.
And it's different when you're attacking mages in their sanctums.
Yeah, that's
Just a little
so.
bit.
If we were willing to barter with them, withdraw our borders slightly to let them have, I don't know if they even take the courthouse. She never said how much they wanted.
Well-
It said half.
Half. I'm not on board with. Again, if they just wanted us to withdraw from away from their sanctum, I would be fine with that, honestly, because we don't go there anyway. But I'm not willing to just abandon half of our area.
So yeah, Network kind of looks over and says, so I have a thought.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if nothing else, it would be good to get numbers of how many are in their Hylon, right?
Yeah, so we can know what we would really be up against if this turns into a fight.
Uh-huh.
My next step in the negotiation was going to be to try and get a map drawn out so we know where their sanctums are.
Right, because they're totally going to let us know that.
Just tell us that, yeah.
But yeah, Network says if we get Songbird over and wiggle some prime fingers at, well, I was going to say me, but Wyrd, you're probably actually better at it, but I can help. And just pulls up a bunch of correspondence to her when she shows up tomorrow.
A little iffy,
Well,
just because we give the right of sanctuary.
sure, we're not
I mean,
doing
we're not harming her.
anything.
No, but we're harming her. We're stealing correspondence from her.
Not stealing.
Not
just-
stealing, just trying to see how much there is.
Yeah, and he's literally talking about using the one dot correspondence, which checks
To see how many.
Any connections.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. And to determine each of the connections. Not stealing anything, it's literally knowing something. And yes, and Wyrd, you were on the right base. Well, where do we draw that line of our, of our O's, which is a discussion that a couple should have. But yeah, no, borrow is not, we're not talking about borrowing, chat.
Borrowed threads is a different spell.
Just talking about correspondence. But yeah, if, you guys are in discussion, Wyrd, like I said, you'd be better, but if it's the three of you discussing with Yuppie Mick, what's her name, Tilly, if, Songbird hooks me up with a veil and I just do a head count, at least figure out how many there are.
If she's got, and I'm not saying this isn't worth a try, but if she's got half a brain, she'll be warded against that kind of thing.
Potentially.
She wasn't today.
Like if they got any access to space magic.
Sure, but I mean, it's a risk, but at the same time, we let her inside our sanctum. She saw all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
She came in here today with no spells active on her.
But that we could see. Points we don't have crime.
True.
If Songbird had been here, maybe they would have been able to detect something, and even that's iffy.
And I'm not saying yes or no, but I'm saying if we go down the road of conflict, they're not going to pull punches. They're going to hit us where it hurts. They're going to hurt our friends and our allies.
they're already threatening that if we don't give them what they want.
Right, but I'm saying this will bring a pain that we haven't seen before
Sure.
if we go down this road.
Well, and that's why I'm just saying, we start researching. Yeah.
And that's not me trying to dissuade anybody. I'm just, if we're going to do this, let's do it with our eyes open.
Well, the only way to not provoke that response is to just give them what they want.
I don't think they're done negotiating yet.
And I mean, and like Titus, steps up and goes, I mean, sure, yeah, threaten an entire pack of werewolves.
Yeah.
Like, because that's my thing. Like, it's a bold posturing, but how many people do they actually have behind it? For all we know, it's just freaking Tilly. And I could take her in a fist fight.
I mean, sure.
I don't
Like,
know. But
squeeze his bicep.
Yeah, I was like, just...
That's right, Titus. You got her.
Just face to face, like, she was like, what, 90 pounds? I don't know. But, I mean, that's if she doesn't cast any spells, though. But if it's just her, because we know about what, the Hallow, and that's it.
And the courthouse.
The courthouse is where the Hallow is. It's up on
Yes.
that top floor.
Yeah.
And so, if at the end of the day, she's a glorified like janitor and she's just watching the Hallow and has been scared for the past 9 months that we were going to come get her. And now she's coming out to, like, there's so much we don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, I do think trying to see how many of them there are, get a head count, is probably a good idea. Because again, if they take that as an act of aggression and decide to go fighting, that's what they were going to do anyway. Because we're not working for them. We're not ceding half our territory. They don't seem to be willing to negotiate for anything else. So...
Yeah, network Nazi is like, because, like, 9 months ago, they were here just doing whatever, and everybody was, quote-unquote, fine with it. Like, it's because nobody probably even knew they were doing anything. Manipulating and doing all that shit behind, closed doors. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. I'm sure people...
Yeah, the Concilium didn't care, really.
Yeah, because the Concilium, they're New York City, but they basically abandoned Manhattan. Like, they basically have very few, like, permanent holdings in Manhattan. Like, they come in, use a place, and that's it. At one point or another, I'm sure Songbird is going to wake up and see a text.
Mm-hmm.
We can
Yeah,
chat with
it's just
Songbird, see what they think. I do think hitting up Rescue One and telling them this offer we've been made is
Titus
solid.
is like, dibs, sure. They're starting to like me. The fact that I've brought ribs 3 times. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
They are literally in the underworld.
Yeah, I was just saying they gotta work to hit the
They
Phantasm
got
Society.
work to do to get to them, yeah.
Though that said, hitting the Phantasm Society, they're not going to be as worried about, Paradox.
My out of
Sure.
my out of character thing is that the Athenaeum's right in the same fucking area. In down by the financial district, and they haven't had a problem with that for however long. So he's cooking them, Perry. Titus cooks.
The butcher. Yeah.
Where are you buying ribs in Manhattan? Please. Titus knows a guy.
At the meat store.
Also online. Anyways. Yes. Shopping face to face in a store.
With a mask on.
Oh, yeah. Currently with a mask on. Without belaboring the point, because otherwise we're going to circle around. I think we'll pause here. Mm-hmm. Songbird will wake up from their nap. We'll get some discussion and see what's going on. Yeah, Avathyrsis grow ribs. Oh man, I don't know how I feel that. Like on one side, sure, no cow has to die for this. On the second side, magic grown ribs Is it the same? I mean, it is, but it's not. Having a whole Matrix moment here. Okay. Woo.
There is definitely the meat shop in Manhattan. There was the Babish episode where he made all the meats burrito. He went to the weird meat store and got like really meats.
I dig it. So yeah. I love chat. Okay, so that is it for this episode, folks. Come by Discord, yeetinto.space to come chat with us, talk about buying things in stores, where to get ribs in Manhattan, or, talk about the fact that the, Ministry of Mammon has shown up on the Cabal's doorstep going, hey, we need you guys to leave, or sign this paperwork one way or another. Lots of head shaking. Nobody's doing that. So we'll figure out what they do decide to do. One of the best things about being an ST. All right, how are we going to start negotiations? A bunch of stuff that none of the Cabal is ever going to want to agree to, and force them to figure out what to do next. It's absolutely terrific. Come by Patreon, patreon.com/occultistanonymous, or just staylucky.club. Much better URL to join our Patreon. You don't necessarily have to join and pledge to see the stuff there. I highly suggest following it, just because when we do post stuff, it's always going to be like timed exclusives for our patrons. So eventually you will be able to see everything that we post. I know the Emily and Gabe, Atratus and Gabe Do a Murder should now be available to everybody. I know Brenna's the work in progress stuff that we had for all this art is now available, so you can go see as Wyrd gets more and more hair. And of course the comic is there, which, reminder, the comic exists. My lovely little family dinner. Come by, check that out. And Legend Lore, it's still up on Kickstarter. Check it out. It looks fabulous. Very excited for it. And if you are interested in D&D at all, I highly suggest looking at it. Righto. Twitch guys, we'll see you in just a couple minutes. YouTube guys, we will see you on the next episode.
Stay lucky.